Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 80 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. We're today taking a little break from the magical stuff, switching back to the technical stuff, and I feel like now's a good time to get into some more advanced energy production, aka we're going to jump into Mekanism reactors. Mekanism reactors is a thing we've done many times, and I'm changing it up today. As usual, I try to do something a little different every time, just because, like, every mod pack uses Mekanism reactors as like a good gateway to getting some good stuff. The good news is Mekanism reactors get you access to a whole bunch of cool things, and we're absolutely going to endeavor to get those things. But I want to start progressing through tech. So things I'd like to get are the Mekanism reactor and turbine. Then I'm going to get an induction battery, like the thing that'll hold tons and tons of RF. Then I'd like to get the Mekanism digital miner so we can start getting resources. I may have to get the digital miner before I get... we'll see what happens. The gist is I don't know that I have enough resources for this, but we're going to find out. And I also, between episodes here, I actually logged into my cheat world where I can cheat things in, and I built a turbine reactor. I built the small size ones. I'm probably going to, at some point in the future, build larger size ones, and then I'll do this as well for them. But what I did is I made it so that I can load up. So let's see. I've got here, this should be my reactor. So if I do this and hit paste, boom, there's my standard size, like, beginner reactor. It's the it's the 7x7x7 reactor, so that should be cool. Does this work if I do this? Reactor and then hit save? Oh, good. Yeah, that does work. Neat. Okay, cool. And then I did the same for the turbine, so I should be able to paste that in there. And boom, now I can put these on my copy-paste gadget. So this will be turbine, save, boom. Look at that, turbine. Looking good, right? How cool is that? So now what I can do is get my copy-paste gadget, okay? And I can load these guys up. So what's currently up there? My blood altar? I don't need that no more. So let's do reactor first, right? Load that onto this dude. So that if we do this, we can go out here and see that he is going to be ready to paste that into the world. Cool? How cool is that, right? Settings menu, that's what I want. Yes, clear this dude out so that he's nice. Okay, so that should be cool. Right? How cool is that? I like that. Okay. So with that said, I think I want to put this inside of a hyperbox. I feel like that would be the smart route to go. And the reason I'm saying that is reactors, if you do something wrong, can explode in a bad way, not only damaging the terrain but also irradiating the area around it. So to prevent that from accidentally happening to my base, I'm going to build a hyperbox to build this in. I just need to, like, measure to make sure that these will fit in here. Okay, so let's load this guy up. We will call him Reactor 01. Okay, that'll be the name of the hyperbox. Cool. So if we anchor this guy about here, does that seem cool? Is this big enough or is this not big enough? This may not be. This might be cutting it close, friends. It might be tight. It might be real tight. Because then I need a 5x5 floor. 5x5x9 is what's next. It's gonna be real tight. It's gonna be really tight. To build this inside this hyperbox. Yeah, that might be cutting it close. It's probably doable. Probably doable. Probably doable. Yeah, I want those things on that side. So if he's right up against the wall there, this will fit with one block space between, which feels, I'm not sure. Let me think about that for a minute. While I'm thinking about that, though, what I am going to do is get ready to make all the things that we need to make. And I'm going to program all these machines, and then I'm going to see if we have enough resources. And if we don't, we're going to have to do a little bit of mining. Okay? So let's start getting all the patterns that we're going to need. Now, tell me I have enough patterns? It seems like I have enough patterns. Cool. Okay, so we're going to need fission reactor casings, okay? And that's going to be part of what we're making here. We're going to need fission reactor ports, and it looks like we know how to make some of those. The reactor casings we're good on. Fission reactor logic adapter, fission fuel assembly. For that, we're going to need some basic chemical tanks, so we might as well add them to the to-do list of how to craft. We're going to need these things. And a lot of these need lead ingots, which I hopefully have some of. I'm assuming I do. And then reactor glass is also a nice thing to have. Oh, you need enriched iron for reactor glass now? Ew. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, well, we know how to make enriched iron, right? We do know how to make enriched iron. That's cool. We know how to make enriched iron? I guess so. I guess so. That's cool. Okay. I guess we know how to make enriched iron. That's neat. That's a new recipe. Okay. And then for turbines, we're going to need a turbine casing. We're going to need turbine vents. We're going to need saturating condensers, which need tin. We're going to need turbine rotors. We're going to need turbine blades. And then we're going to need rotational complexes. These are all the components that go into making turbines and reactors. And knowing how to autocraft them, trust me, is where you want to be at. And then pressure disperser. Now, the benefit of doing what I just did with the building gadgets is building gadgets will give me a list of materials that I need to build things. Okay? So take a look at this bad boy, right? Once I put all these in here, we can start our auto-crafting adventure. And that's where we're going to find out, do I have enough resources for this? My theory is I probably don't. I'll be shocked if I can pull off building this with the resources I have. But we'll find out. Maybe I'll surprise myself. So if we go over here to our materials list, we can see exactly the number of materials I need for everything I want to make. How cool is that? So I'm going to go start kicking this stuff off, right? So all I need to do is jump over to here, right? And let's say we want a control rod assembly. That would be 13. Cool. And fission fuel assembly, right? That'll be 52. Right? And we're missing basic chemical tanks. Didn't I teach you how to make basic chemical tanks? Yes, you know how to make them. There must be an NBT issue with those. So let's get this guy, right? We'll see if that fixes it, and if not, we'll have to do something shenaniganry, right? So 52. Now we're happy. See, we can, yeah. Fission logic adapter, we need 2 of them. Fission reactor port, we need 2 of them. Reactor glass, I need 96. Wow, am I actually going to be able to craft all this? And 118 fission reactor casings. Ah, we're short on lead. That's okay. We should maybe have lead somewhere. We've got raw lead blocks. But that's like lead itself. Then we've got these guys. What I should do is... Are these craftable? Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to want to do is add this to the auto-crafting thing. Add that over here somewhere. And then your dumping into things will be, that's sulfur dust. This will be the raw lead block. So that if we pop in here now, he should be processing lead, right? Except for the fact that we had stuff busy. You do have a crafting card, right? Raw lead block. You do have the lead to do that with, right? So why aren't you working? Shouldn't that work? Am I crazy? Shouldn't you be pushing into the white thingy? Yes. Yes, you should be. That's weird. Why aren't you working? Raw lead block. That really should be working. Shouldn't that be working? You know, you expect the things... Maybe some kind of pack update broke something? I have no idea. Maybe something weird with Hyperbox is going on. But we'll get lead. Now I'm curious if you're gonna... Will you import bus? So the import bus is working. That's interesting. But the export bus ain't working. And the device is online. It's not a channels issue, right? No, we got plenty of channels going on over there. All right, I'll have to troubleshoot that at some point and figure out why you are misbehaving. But long story short, we can just dump this in here. And then we have to kind of cross our fingers and see if this whole clean slurry thing behaves itself. So now, where did I leave off? Fission reactor casings, right? Yes. So for those, we need 116 more. And now we're good. Perfect. Cool. All right. So that means that. Let me come back in a minute when this crafting is done, and after I decide if I want to, you know, with all the hyperbox or not. I'll tell you what, though, kids, and this is a life lesson for you right here. At some point, I don't know if it's because of a pack update or way things change, but something somewhere is better now, where I'm no longer having an issue with my like overflowing slurry. So I've yet to have a thing where like a random amount of stuff is left in here. So I guess the lesson here is if you ignore a problem long enough, it goes away on its own. Yeah, I'm sure that's how it works. See, everything's nice and tidy. Look at that. I wonder if like there was a specific change in any of the mods that I'm using here that make that happen, but yeah, it's definitely much better behaved. All right, I'm gonna try building it in the Hyperbox, and I think the thing that I'll do is if I can't fit it in here, then life goes on and we just like move it outside. Is that cool? So let's place it. So in theory, if we look for all our mechanism meets things, we're going to need you and you. We're going to need my reactor glass. We're going to need our fission reactor casings. We're going to need these guys. What else am I missing material list wise? No, that's it. All right. So now, in fairness, it should have pulled out of the A system, right? Because this thing is bound to the A system. But I wanted to have it in my inventory so that I could validate all greens, right? So, boom. How's that for a reactor build, huh? You ain't seen me build one of those that fast ever, have you? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now a couple notes here. Because I'm tightly into this corner over here, I'm going to probably want to steal you, and we'll do reactor glass. We're probably going to want at least a couple more ports. Let's get another 2 ports, if that's cool. Shouldn't be a big deal. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is have some things back here for injecting water, probably. And then we can have our glass and casing. And you're going to be the steam output. I'm definitely going to need some kind of input for and output for stuff, for fuel. So, you know, give me one more of them ports. Do you make 2 at a time? I think you do. That's fine, though. Right? And you can also be a port for now. I might rearrange that. We'll see. So this will be your steam output. That's going to be your logic for controlling the reactor. These will be your water inputs. We might have more. And then this will be like fuel in and waste out kind of deal. That could be cool. Now, my other concern might be... because of the compactness of this room, am I going to be able to handle waste processing in here? Or am I going to be able to get waste out of here and, like, process it elsewhere? Right? Because waste processing requires sunlight, and I don't think we're going to get sunlight in here. So that's 100% something to think about. All right, more I'm thinking about it, the less I like this idea. It's just a little too compact in this Hyperbox. So let's cut and paste this thing out of here, right? Does that sound cool? I love it. That's so fun. Where do we want to build this then? That's an exceptional question. Let's go outside somewhere and like find a nice place that's like far away, but not too far away, but not too close, but definitely not too far. Maybe like over here-ish, like on this. I want it to be relatively flat terrain, though I can always destruction my gadget my way into flatness. I want it to, yeah, be kind of, yeah. Let's head south this way-ish, right? And what I'll do is I will aim to build some kind of structure around what I want. Does that sound cool? Yeah. All right, a little bit of terraforming later, and this looks good enough. So I'm going to start by wondering why this thing is so low. Oh, probably because I need to modify the settings menu, clear that, and now you're much better. Okay, cool. And then I kind of want to rotate it a few times. So how about 1, 2, 3? That should be cool. And then that should have no problem rebuilding. Ooh, I like that. I like that so much. That how cool is that? Just saying. All right, so we're back. What I did is I went off camera for a sec, made all the components for my turbine. And as we can see here, I've already loaded up my turbine onto my copy paste gadget. We have all the materials we need. So a simple right click and boom, we have a turbine built, right? That's pretty cool. Now, did you do the only thing I'm not seeing here is the turbine. Do you have actually on your material list? You know what? Ah, that's a thing, actually. So the material list does not include the blades, right? We need 8 of those, I want to say. So the blades get added to the turbines. They rotors. They don't actually. They're not individual blocks. So Building Gadgets doesn't know they exist because they're not blocks, right? They're like data that gets added to the rotor. So throwing that in there is going to be a thing we need to do, right? So if I do this, are you going to complain that you don't have rotors? Dispersers 8, blades 0. See that? Blades 0, that's a problem. But if I throw those turbine blades on there now, 8 is the number you need. It's 2 per rotor, right? So there's 4 rotors in there, so that means 8 blades. Are you going to be cool? There you go. Awesome. So now if we take a look at the status, blades is cool. Dispersers says limiting. I think I have the right number of dispersers, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Is that these guys? No, that's vents. Dispersers might be something. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We're fine. We're fine. It's all fine. Yeah, so we should be cool here to have our reactor up and running. Does that look good? And then what I'll usually do at this point is make a sink or 2. I should really add sinks to the auto crafting. We have no buckets as usual. We never have buckets. Where's all my buckets going? I'm always making buckets and then they're disappearing, right? Cool. And what I'll do is probably ultimate fluid pipe this. I've used laser IO before, but I just feel like ultimate fluid pipes would be cool. So pipes, do we not have those programmed? I'm just going to make a small batch, but I should really add them to the whole thing, right? All right, ultimate mechanical pipe, boom, 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 and configurator. That should be cool. And then we're going to fill up our water nice and quick. Good deal? Okay, so that's step one of reactor and turbine building. Okay, so the reactor now has is fully built. This is like a standard like entry level reactor. It's not the smallest one you can get, but it's a decent like beginner reactor. And this is a decent beginner turbine that will support the decent beginner reactor. We are now going to make fissile fuel. Okay, fissile fuel is going to be used in a fission reactor to generate steam. So water, right, any water, plus fuel equals steam plus nuclear waste. The nuclear waste is later going to be used to make plutonium and polonium, which make for some good endgame things, including antimatter, but we'll get to that in the future. The steam is going to be used in the turbine over here to generate power, right? So fuel plus water equals steam plus waste. Steam gets piped from reactor into generator, turbine. Turbine, the steam turns the turbines, generates power. It converts the steam back to water, and then we can pipe the water back into the reactor, or we can just void it because we have infinite water going on over here, right? We may or may not void it or whatever. We'll figure it out. So let's come back in a moment once I'm ready to see if we're doing fissile fuel today, because I have no idea how much time I've been recording for. Hey, you know what? 20 minutes to get all this built out? Not too terrible. All right. And by the way, now that I have these copy and paste things, I can use these to build reactors anytime in future episodes, which is nice. So let's do this. And you're lined up, right? Perfect. Let's do this. Let's look at what we need to do to get fissile fuel going, and then we'll start looking at the production line for today. And then once we have that planned out a little bit more, I'll probably want to build it out here in game and then copy paste that so I can like try to do like multiple sets, or at least use it in the future to do more, right? So fissile fuel is made, you can break down reprocessed, but this requires plutonium, so we're not doing that yet. We're generating it from scratch. Fissile fuel ultimately comes from a few basic resources, okay? First off, we need uranium hexafluoride, which is made in a chemical infuser with uranium oxide and hydrofluoric acid, okay? Uranium oxide is simply made from yellow cake uranium, which is made from uranium ingots. So really straightforward making that uranium oxide. So that's not bad. The hydrofluoric acid is a little bit more complex, okay? That needs sulfuric acid and fluorite. Fluorite is a resource that we get from mining, so we already have a ton of that. We're probably going to need more. That's okay. Sulfuric acid then comes from sulfur trioxide and water vapor. And water vapor is literally just deconcentrated water, so any water source will do. Okay. The sulfur trioxide is going to be oxygen and sulfur dioxide. And oxygen, again, comes from water, right, in the electrolytic separator. Sulfur dioxide can come straight from sulfur dust, which, as you may recall, we already have automated, courtesy of Blood Magic. So we shouldn't have to worry about sulfur dust at all. We should have unlimited sulfur dust, assuming that we have enough. Fluorite is going to maybe be a little bit tricky in terms of how much, like, we're going to probably have to, like, do something for that. Now, we could go productive bees for fluorite. Maybe. I'd have to see, like, how fast these bees produce fluorite, right? They'd have to make it really, really fast. Alternatively, we could get fluorite ore from laser drills if we wanted that to be infinite. Like, my goal, I think, in this series should be, like, let's make infinite of all the resources we need for this. Usually I just wind up moving a mechanism digger around and, like, oh, look, we ran out of fuel again. We better go get some more. That's annoying. Let's look at, in this series, if we can find a way to, like, fully automate all the resources we need. And maybe I will, like, look into the productive bees fluorite comb. I'm just curious, like, will I be able to produce enough from bees to, like, satisfy a reactor? I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know the amount that bees can produce. So maybe that's a thing we'll look into. So for all this to happen, we're going to need one isotropic centrifuge. We're going to need a bunch of chemical infusers. I know that much. We're going to need some chemical oxidizers. We're going to need an enrichment chamber for sure. Chemical dissolution chamber, that's going to go on the to-do list. Chemical infuser, do I already have that one? I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, and that's also an infuser. We're going to want a rotary condensator. We're going to want electrolytic separator. We're going to want chemical oxidizer. Is that on my list already? Yeah, it was. Okay, cool. So those are the machines I need. And I think what I'm going to do to be smart about this is I'm going to go teach the AE system how to make all these machines so that I'm ready to just make whatever I need, right? Like, no sense doing the whole, like, hey, I'm not sure, kind of, like, let's just get it done, right? Let's forget about it. Okay. And then that was the dissolution chamber, so we want a rotary condensator. Since we're going to be doing that, we should probably teach you the basic fluid tank. And I think what I'm going to do is make sure that my fluid tank recipe is in here so that we don't run into that whole problem that we did before. So if I do this and that, now you notice it has a little plus sign there, meaning I know how to make that thing. Cool. And then this guy. And you're going to need to know to make this thing, which doesn't have NBT, so we shouldn't have to worry about that problem. You can be cool. How about we get you personal chest? And let's get you dynamic tank. And now we'll remake this recipe to make sure that you know how to make it, right? Now we're happy. Cool. So I'm going to get all these guys ready. And let's start building this out. So you can see I waystoned my reactor, by the way. So I'm thinking, so two things. One, I should probably not have the ability for mobs to show up over here. Because that wouldn't be cool. Also, was I smart and like, I did not even look to see. Well, we actually kind of put them a little bit chunk aligned. I should move them so that they're more chunk aligned. I should be able to do that easily with copy paste gadget, right? Should be able to, or cut and paste gadget, I mean, right? So if I had you on cut mode, and we did like you and you, so you're gonna truncate that. So let's, okay, yes, I see. Let's do start end X. So if I went like, nope, I want it to be X. That would include the whole thing, right? That would be cool. I like that deal. Okay, let's do this. Let's sleep through the night real quick, just so that those mobs go away. And then we should probably build like a don't let mobs spawn thing. So Pharaoh Flare Lantern is from what mod? Torchmaster. So we're gonna want one of these dudes. Alright, so now you should be cool to cut. Boy, I hope this works, because that would be really neat. Oh, you know what I should have done? Yeah, let's include the let's include the thing. Actually, how did you not include the thing? Yeah, we should go like one further back. So what we would do would be you to you, and then settings menu will be ++ confirm, and now that would include that, right? So now cut it. That is cool. Oh, that's interesting. Do these guys have the not allowed to move tag? Forge relocation not supported. See that tag? That's how blocks can say I don't want to be moved by things like gadgets and other like frame machines from Create. So that tag existing tells me that Mekanism doesn't want those things moved, and Building Gadgets respects that tag. So it says, oh, you don't want to let me move that thing? That's cool. I won't move it. All right, so how's this look? Does this look nice? Okay, yeah. So now the reactor and turbine are all within one chunk, right? And I can place that back down in the world, and that's pretty cool. Now he may have, yes, see, and he brought the tile entity data with it. How cool is that? Look at that. I brought the tile entity data with it, so that water that was in there is still in there. That is cool, right? Dire proud of his mod. I just want to, like, break and replace these just to make sure that they're reformed properly, right? And all that's there. Cool. And then you can come with me, my friend. We'll just have to manually move these because whatchamacallit said don't let them move with cut and paste. Cool. Okay, so now we're good. Beautiful, right? I like it. I like it. I think it's cool. I might need to remove that right-click thing from my sword. As much as I like having it on there, it's gonna be a problem for me, right? I'm gonna have issues with that. So let's get to building. So first off, I would like to have maybe like underneath this block, we'll throw this guy down. Yeah, that'll be good. I'll leave that open for now, just so I remember it's there. And then should we keep this within the same chunk, or should we build it within its own chunk? Let's build it within its own chunk. So this chunk over here is where I'll do, this is where I'll do the creation of the fissile fuel and the processing of waste. Okay, so how about along this wall is where I'll do fissile fuel production. And I like that plan. So let's get our isotropic centrifuge. We're definitely gonna need one of those, okay? And that'll be my fissile fuel producer. And then we need a chemical infuser that's going to sit in front of that. Okay, so that'll be you. I'd like you to sit here-ish. Is that too far forward? It might be. If I have to move it, I'll move it. Deal? Okay. Chemical infuser sits in front of it, right? And that's going to make my uranium hexafluoride, right? To the right of that should be an oxidizer and an enrichment chamber. So oxidizer and enrichment chamber. Cool. That shouldn't be too bad. Well, I like this. And we'll probably wind up upgrading these things for sure, but like in a minute, right? So that covers you guys down the line, right? Hydrofluoric acid is used for uranium hexafluoride, right? So hydrofluoric acid is going to be a chemical dissolution chamber. And 1, 2 chemical infusers. Dissolution chamber. And 2 infusers. Not metallurgic, but chemical infusers. Okay. Come on, dissolution chamber. What's taking you so long? There you go. Cool. So that would be you, you, and you. Okay. So that would be dissolution chamber. He needs water vapor, so he needs the rotary condensator behind him. And this guy needs oxygen, so he's going to need the electrolytic separator. So rotary concentrator, electrolytic separator. Okay, those guys will be water-based. And then sulfur dioxide will just be a chemical oxidizer. So I'm pretty sure that's going to work. If it doesn't, I'll just move things. But I think it'll be all right. That's not bad at all, right? Cool. All right. So I might want to copy-paste this. So let's get my copy-paste gadget. I'll validate that it works shortly, but for now, let's make sure that it's copied. So copy. I can turn off my anchor. So I'm going to have you copy from here to here. But I would like you I I believe that's Z, right? So +1 on the Z for start. Actually, let's make it -1 on the Z for start. And +1 for that, right? And then we should be able to, right? Like, that's pretty cool. That should work. I think. We'll find out if I did everything right. I hopefully didn't miss anything. Okay, so now with that done, let's get a flux point here. And we're definitely going to want ultimate cables because these machines are going to be very power hungry once I fully flesh them out, right? So once they're fully up and running, it's going to be a very power hungry situation. Let's get a mining laser real quick, and I'm going to refill in the ground when I'm done with this. But for now, what I'll do is let's do a 3x3. Cool, and that should be fine. And then the flux point can go there on Direwolf's network. That means everybody's getting large amounts of power populating in. Beautiful. Everybody should be getting their juice. Nice. Okay. Let's do the sidedness config. So unfortunately, copy-paste won't be able to copy and paste this info. Maybe at some point I will add a feature that allows it to handle that, but it would be mechanism specific. But basically, you're going to input from somewhere, but I would like you to, for items, output to the left, auto-eject on, right? And your chemical oxidizer for items will be input from the right. And then for gases, you're going to output to the left with eject on, okay? And then your gases for gases on the right, that's good. Output out the front, input on the left. That all looks cool to me. So if I were to throw a little bit of uranium in here for a moment, okay? And we'll, like I said, do speed upgrades in a minute. But then that's going to make that, he's going to yellow cake uranium himself, and then he's going to make the uranium, and that's going to sit over there. Perfect. So that's piece one. Okay. Over here, we're going to want some water. So I'm thinking a sink, right? So let's get another water bucket and a sink. Okay. And the sink can probably just sit here. And you guys can get... I don't think there would be a need for more than a basic pipe, but we'll find out. And this dude. Cool. So now you're getting hydrogen and oxygen. And your side config, I'm just going to clear that out for a minute. For gases, I'm going to clear that out. And items. Fluids are just importing everywhere. You're going to do the same... I want to toggle this operation? Perfect. Now, are you getting chemical dissolution chamber? Is that right? No, these guys actually have to all be moved. Hold on. So you to you can be cut. Not sure why I'm doing that, since half those can't be moved, but whatever. And put you there. Sweet. I love that. Okay. So you're gonna, so over here, you're gonna oxidize sulfur, right? Which should start auto-crafting more. Okay. And then you, for gases, are gonna eject to the right, which means sulfur should be coming in here, right? Sulfur dioxide. So for gases, I would like you to input 2 on the back. And then for you, I forget what direction you're facing, but I think if I want you to void hydrogen. So dump excess hydrogen. And then for side config, the chemical infuser, that's you. I would like you to push out blue. So for gases, turn off eject for a sec. Output 2, which is blue, should go in there, right? So for gases, eject on, and now you should be getting oxygen plus sulfur dioxide equals sulfur trioxide, okay? And then I'm going to want you to output gases on the right in a second. Cool. You are going to, for gases, I'm just going to turn everything off for a minute because I don't want you doing nothing yet. But this guy is making water vapor, okay? I would like gases output to the front, or this guy. Output eject on. And then your side config should be your sulfur trioxide, right? Sulfuric acid is what you are, right? So let's have orange be the back of this guy. So let's have gases turn off for a sec. So gases on the back should be input 2. So that if I set you to eject on now, you should be putting water vapor in there. Perfect. Cool. Your sulfur trioxide, I want to come in on the left, right? So gases input 1 will be left. And you, gases, output on the right. Good. Which means you are now making sulfuric acid, which should output on the right. And sulfuric acid is going into here. And then that combines with fluorite to make this thing. And your side config for gases will output to the right. So you're now combining hydrofluoric acid with uranium oxide, makes uranium hexafluoride, makes fissile fuel. Boom! Fissile fuel production line complete. Nice. We should probably copy and paste this again. What I might do is settings menu. Let's bring the Y level down 1 so that we capture the start Y should go down and the end Y should go up, right? So now we should have, you know, that whole thing. Doesn't that look cool? So cool. I love it. I love it. And by the way, you're allowed to copy and paste. You're just not allowed to cut and paste. Because the relocation not supported things means don't move me, right? So don't take me and move me somewhere else, but you are allowed to copy me and, like, place me anew. So that's pretty cool. All right. That works for me, right? I think that looks good. All right. So we've got basic fissile fuel production. What I'm going to want to do is come back next episode and make this all run faster, automate inserting sulfur dust, automate inserting fluorite, automate inside all this stuff. Much more to do automation-wise, but then we'll basically run this fissile fuel straight over to here, and we'll be partway towards having a reactor. For now, Del20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.